This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Now at noon, the epicenter of COVID-19 in Indiana now appears to be Cass County. Even as some parts of the state begin looking to reopen, the county north of Indianapolis is imposing major restrictions to help stop a dramatic outbreak of the coronavirus. Good afternoon, I'm Lauren Casey. The number of cases of COVID-19 in Cass County is now at least 1,025. That's according to the state health department, with a county population of around 38,000 people. That means Cass County now has the highest infection rate in the state. The rate spiked over the last week following an outbreak at the Tyson Meats plant that's in Logansport. The plant was shut down, and we know that several hundred of its 2,200 employees have tested positive so far. Today, the city of Logansport and the Cass County Commission imposed major restrictions on essential businesses in an effort to get more people to stay home and stop the spread of this virus. It all started with an executive order from the mayor of Logansport that took effect just moments ago.
Customers are limited to one person per family while shopping at essential retail establishments in the city of Logansport. Each person entering such establishment should wear a mask that covers their nose and mouth. Children under the age of 16 will not be allowed into essential retail establishments.
Well, at this hour, the Cass County Commission is approving similar restrictions on customers at essential businesses countywide. Also, Logansport Memorial Hospital says patients with illnesses other than COVID-19 may be sent to medical facilities outside of Cass County so they're not exposed, and so doctors can concentrate on the coronavirus patients. These new rules will be in effect until further notice. In addition to the Tyson plant, the Indiana Packers pork plant in Delphi is also closed for at least the next 2 weeks because of concerns over COVID-19. The plant's management says at least 15 employees were sick when the decision was made late last week to close, and those numbers have not been updated so far. Well, some meat companies have also warned that millions of pounds of meat may not be shipped to grocery stores in the coming weeks because of plant closures across the country. Some of the new coronavirus numbers from Cass and Carroll counties have not been reported yet to the state health department. Even so, the new number of cases continues to rise statewide. Here are the latest numbers from the department. The state reported 31 new deaths since yesterday, and there were almost 1,000 new cases again, many of those coming from Cass County. The state will hold another briefing with Governor Holcomb at 2:30 this afternoon with more information. You can watch that right here on RTV6 and also at theindychannel.com. It is time to change gears now and get a check of our Monday forecast. Todd Glosson is standing by from home this midday. And Todd, we have a great day of weather in store. I've yet to get outside since I walked in this building this morning, but I'm looking forward to getting out, maybe eating lunch outside.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy it when you walk out the door, Lauren, because it is spectacular out there. The sun is shining. Unlike yesterday, we do not have any wind. And take a look at these temperatures, already into the 60s in many locations here across central Indiana, sitting at 61 degrees currently in Indianapolis, 62 in Bloomington. There's a couple 50s out there down in Bedford, as well as the Richmond area. You notice some high, thin clouds starting to work their way in after what was a bright blue sky throughout the morning hours. And we'll continue to see the skies trend what we'll call partly cloudy throughout the day, and eventually there will be the potential of maybe a few very, very spotty showers. You see some of these showers off to our west here. It's a broken line of showers moving into Illinois, with on the bookends some heavier showers near Green Bay, and then on the southern part of the line of showers south of St. Louis, they're a little heavier, but they should continue to weaken as they push towards the state. Once we get past 8 o'clock, there could be a stray shower or two in northern locations. Otherwise, we'll see partly cloudy skies, temperatures up to right around 67 degrees. And Lauren, that's exactly where our high temperature should be this time of year. It's a sunny seasonal day. Get out there and enjoy, because the rest of the week kind of up and down temperature-wise and with rain chances. We'll talk more about that for you coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. President Trump may be scaling back the daily White House briefings over COVID-19 after some Republicans in Congress expressed worry that it might hurt their chances for re-election this fall. ABC's Alex Brochet tells us the change in tactics may be tied to the president's questions last week about whether disinfectants could be injected into people.
A drastically different approach for President Trump at his most recent White House briefing. no questions, no back and forth with reporters, accustomed to 2-hour-long briefings. The president now says those White House news conferences are not worth the time and effort, blaming the media for what he calls hostile questions.
Just more fake news, John.
The president has had his fair share of clashes with reporters, but he's also facing pushback from his own party. Worries rising that these long, drawn-out briefings may do more harm than good.
I think an hour and a half or 2 hours of anybody every day is not going to be great for their political standing, no matter who they are and what they do.
Now, there's concern the briefings could be hurting Republicans' chances in November. A new report in the New York Times says senior GOP officials worry inaccurate, even dangerous statements made by the president at these briefings could cost them seats. ABC also reporting on internal discussions urging President Trump to focus more on the economy and the post-pandemic recovery. Late last week, after his administration unveiled new research showing the effectiveness of sunlight and disinfectants in killing the virus on surfaces and in the air, the president wondered out loud.
When I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute, and is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
President Trump later claiming he was being sarcastic, but officials and companies felt obligated to issue warnings not to ingest disinfectants. Across the country, some poison control centers reporting a rise in calls about household cleaners fighting the virus.
I think the president made it clear that physicians had to study this. I think I've made it clear that this was amusing.
Even some Republican governors asking the president to keep to the facts.
The president's got to focus on the message, stick to a message, and make sure that these press conferences are fact-based.
The White House press secretary says there will be no briefing today, but there will be future briefings at which President Trump will be present. Also, yesterday marked 2 months since the president said there were just 15 cases and that would soon be down to 0. According to Johns Hopkins University, U.S. confirmed cases are closing in on 1 million, 55,000 of those fatal. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Small businesses can apply again for loans from the Federal Paycheck Protection Program starting today. And a loan program that's helping small businesses in Indiana rebound is now a little bit larger. Today, Glick Philanthropies announced it was donating $250,000 to the Rapid Response Loan Fund created by the City of Indianapolis and the Indy Chamber. The fund is also offering loans that businesses can use to pay employees or other expenses until other loans kick in. So far, the Chamber says just over half the loans have been given out by the fund, and they've gone to businesses owned by people of color or women. New this midday, the General Motors plant in Kokomo wants to hire more Hoosiers. GM says it needs more than 1,000 temporary workers to help make ventilators for hospitals. The GM plant shifted to making the ventilators this month to help the healthcare system respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. The company says both full-time and part-time jobs are still available with a starting wage of $16.67 an hour. GM will host a virtual job fair with more information on these jobs. It's all happening May 6th, starting at 11 a.m. We have more information on how you can sign up for it, plus a complete list of current job openings in the area right now. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com. If you use an app on your phone or send money to loved ones, be careful. Next, how some scammers claim to be accidentally getting you to share your banking information with them. Todd.
And Lauren, temperatures are starting to moderate here across central Indiana, which is the good news in this forecast. The bad news is with the warmer temperatures will come the chance of rain in our forecast going forward. We'll talk all about those rain chances for you coming up when the news at noon continues right here on RTV6.
General Hospital, this week on ABC.
Welcome back. A lot of us are using Venmo or maybe another virtual way of sending money to people these days. But criminals are also becoming more familiar with those online banking apps. Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau tells us about one scam that could leave your bank account high and dry.
This is for people who use any of the virtual wallet apps. Venmo is one. Apple Pay is also one. There are several out there. Here's how this scam works. You're going to get a message on your Venmo app, and it's going to say something like, hey, I accidentally sent you some money by mistake. Can you return it? Well, you look into it and you say, gee, you know, the mistakes happen. Sometimes people can type in the wrong username or what have you. And you go ahead and you send them the money back, and maybe several $100s. Well, here's how the scam works. Someone actually used a stolen credit card to transfer money into your account. And then when you say, hey, yeah, I'll give you that money back because, we didn't have any sort of transaction, what they're going to do is then they're going to replace that stolen credit card with their own account. You're going to deposit the money back in, and then that stolen credit card is going to be found out, and that money is going to be taken out of your account. So they're just trying to get you to pay them some money through what you think is a mistake, but it's actually just a con situation out there where they're trying to scam you out of some money. So if you are using one of these virtual wallets, just be very, very careful. If you get that type of a message where someone says, hey, I sent you some money by mistake, can you send it back? Just check it out before you do that. Mistakes do happen, but the scammers are using this tactic to try to scam some money out of you.
Tim, thank you. Well, slowly but surely things are getting back to normal. Up next, why leaders of one church made the decision to gather in small groups, plus reaction from the community. That's after the break.
Call the number on your screen.
Welcome back. It had been weeks since a Fisher's church closed their doors due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but on Sunday they were open once again. Our Troy Washington has more on how the church plans to rebound while still following guidelines to keep everyone safe.
I-Town Church is opening their sanctuary to those in need.
People who are physically strong are growing spiritually and emotionally sick. And I believe the solution to this problem is the physical gathering of the church.
Church leaders tell RTV6 the decision to hold service wasn't an easy one.
I agree that we need to follow the data. We need to listen to our doctors. We need to protect those in our community who are the most vulnerable. But I do not agree with our fundamental rights to worship being revoked. So on one hand, the church has been deemed essential, but on the other, we're not allowed to gather. There is no substitute for being in God's presence together.
For weeks, the church did services online to promote social distancing. They will continue virtual service as well as the additional in-person service.
We are adhering to far stricter guidelines than every other public place where you can still legally gather.
The church plans to allow only 10 people in at a time for services.
We are officially in a situation where your religious freedoms have been removed in the interest of public health.
The plan is to do 40-minute services every hour on the hour, however many days it takes until everyone who wants to worship gets the chance.
We're going to have a professional hospital cleaning company on site all throughout the day. They actually have a machine that kills all viruses on contact, and they'll be disinfecting the building between every single service.
Working for you in Fishers, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Well, I-Town Church says if you're feeling under the weather or you're high risk for COVID-19, they ask that you stay home rather than attend the in-person services. RTV6 is your source for information on how Central Indiana is rebounding from the pandemic. You can find more information and links to job openings, loans, and help finding food. It's all right now at our website, theindychannel.com/rebound. Time right now for a check of our forecast. We're starting off a new work week. And Todd, we have a great start in the forecast. I know it's not going to last every day, but we do have sunshine.
You know, it's a typical spring week here where we get some mild temperatures, then we get a storm or a front coming through, the temperatures drop, we get a little bit of rain, and then it rebounds. And you can see that on this graph behind me. The yellow line straight across the top is our average high, which is 67. We're close to that here today. We go above it tomorrow, and then once that cold front comes through, the middle half of the week is going to be pretty chilly across the area before the warmer temperatures start to work their way back in. So let's dive into the forecast. Here's a live look for you from downtown to the north. Mostly sunny skies, just some high thin clouds out there at this noon hour, and that is just about it, with temperatures that are currently sitting in the low 60s anywhere you go. We started in the 30s this morning, so that was a significant jump, over 20 degrees in many locations from morning lows to your noontime temperatures, and we'll continue to go up another couple degrees here. That's the good news. About 66 to 68 degrees will be our high temperature later on this afternoon, and then this evening temperatures will slowly fall back down into the 50s. So while it's quiet right now, there is a weak system off to our west. It's part of warmer air that's going to be working its way into the area. And the more significant rain is to the north and down to our south. Well, this is going to bypass us to the south. We don't have to worry about that. But some of that rain to the north will start to drop down as we work our way into the evening hours. Once we get to about 8 o'clock, there could be the chance of a spot shower. It would be very, very light. So if you do have any plans this afternoon or this evening right after dinner, I do think you're fine. Later on in the evening, closer to sunset and beyond, that's when a few spotty showers will sneak in here. And then overnight tonight, we'll continue the threat of seeing these scattered showers around all the way into the Tuesday morning drive if you do have to get out on the roadways tomorrow morning. So that's something we will keep an eye on for you. But this evening, again, temperatures will be in the 50s with a spot shower or two. Sunset is at 8:36. Now, the daytime hours tomorrow are going to be dry for the most part with warm temperatures. We climb up into the 70s with mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow evening, though, a more significant front heads our way. And this one will bring the potential of some stronger storms into the area once we get closer to midnight. But based upon the timing, here we are at midnight tomorrow into Wednesday morning. As I advance this, look what happens. The storms kind of fall apart as they make their way through the area. And then we get into a pretty wet day on Wednesday. But as far as those storms go, there's a marginal risk for severe weather for the western half of the state for late tomorrow into Wednesday morning. But as those storms again work their way off towards the east, they should weaken, become non-severe, but it will lead to a pretty wet day for us on Wednesday with temperatures in the 60s. Thursday is the coolest day that we have in our extended forecast when we're right around 59 degrees. But the cool down is brief, Lauren. That's the good news. As you see here, Friday and then into the weekend, the first weekend of May, temperatures will jump into the mid-60s, and then by Saturday, 75 degrees and skies that'll be partly cloudy.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, We're Open Indy is an RTV6 effort to highlight businesses that are still open to serve the community during this pandemic. Our Brad Brown shows us how a Greenwood restaurant is taking curbside service to a new level.
For most of us, lunch and dinner are coming via drive-through or drive-up. The crew at Bubba's 33 in Greenwood have turned the pickup process into a party.
It's been fantastic to see how our leadership has allowed us to really explore any option that was necessary. You know, no one has been concerned about cost. It has always been about safety first for our guests and for our staff. And then what is the ease for people coming in and out?
Doug and his staff have essentially moved their restaurant's operation into the front parking lot. The setup's pretty slick. Each space gets a number. You pull up, and that basically is your table.
Hey, how we doing, boss? What's up? Hey, living the dream, buddy.
Waitstaff take your order or radio back inside for online and call-aheads.
Curbside has been something that has been growing long before this ever happened, and now I think it's going to be something that explodes. But I think people really enjoy our food in this setting, and we're able to still give them some interaction, you know, just 6 feet away.
Order for single food.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
It's a very efficient way of moving vehicles through, and even given the situation, Southsiders and beyond are turning out in some impressive numbers.
They've definitely been uber involved, as you can see, and we want to make sure our people are working and taken care of. And at the same time, we're reaching back. You know, so anytime we can partner with the local area, like tonight we partnered with Franciscan Health, give them 10% back of our sales. A community needs both ways.
And if you do feel like cooking at home, Bubba's is selling grill packs and produce boxes for takeout as well.
We want to make sure that they have everything they need in their lives. And right now, sometimes it's difficult to get all those things. We can be one-stop shop. We can be produce. We can be meat. We can be, you know, a little bit of today's food, a little bit of tomorrow's.
That Dine to Donate is a great program there at Bubba's 33. They sponsor a different organization every night. By the way, if you have drinks in mind, they have beer, wine, and cocktail mixes available to go as well. Bubba's 33 in Greenwood is at US 31 near Stop 11 Road. They also have a location on the 96th Street exit of I-69 in Fishers. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Sticking together while staying apart.
Welcome back. It is time for one final check of our forecast. Todd, what can we expect this week?
Should be a beautiful afternoon, Lauren, with plenty of sunshine and seasonable temperatures up to 67 today. Rain late tomorrow, but most of the daytime hours will be dry. Temperature right around 72. By far the wettest day in the forecast, Lauren, is going to be Wednesday. The coolest day is Thursday, then warmer temperatures heading into the weekend.
All right, Todd, thanks, and thank you for joining us and making RTV6 your choice for news. Come back and join us here for the news at 5 o'clock. Get outside. Have a great Monday.